RadioZero.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose live on 1010 at 5 CST 2025. There's got to be something in there. Like some kind of math.
There probably is.
Mm-hmm. There is.
We're live streaming on Facebook on the Radio Zero page and Poster Children page, on Twitch at PCJC USA, and on the Poster Children YouTube channel every other Friday, 5 p.m. Central, usually.
And it's Rocktober. I forgot that it's been 10. I haven't said Rocktober for 10 days.
Yeah.
Can't believe that.
Missed.
It's Rocktober.
10 opportunities.
10 opportunities.
You can subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or go to radiozero.us, RSS feed there. You can patronize us at patreon.com/radiozero. Thanks to all our patrons. All right.
So I have some bad news for all of you. We're going to impose 3,000% tariffs on your listening pleasure here. So if you're listening in a state that is in the United States that isn't a red state, you're going to have 3,000% tariffs. And if you're listening in a red state, then you have negative 3,000% tariffs.
Did I miss something? Is there are there going to be tariffs,
kind of tariff.
internal tariffs?
I don't know. Like it's like such a shit. It's a fire hose of just shit. It is pretty. I mean, it's pretty impressive, right? Like I've been trying to work. Right, first of all, I can't listen to my favorite podcast quickly enough now because I'm so busy. And my favorite podcast is Pod Save America. Which I don't understand, and I have to keep rerunning it and stuff like that. It looked like they had J.B. Pritzker on there, but I can't even go fast enough because, like, what I'm interested now in is like whatever's going to happen in Chicago. Like they're sending in, they're eating the dogs and cats. They're sending in the National Guard, right? But then there was a stay, some judge, and I don't even totally understand this stuff either. Some circuit court judge decided that there wasn't a good enough reason. There wasn't actually a rebellion happening in Chicago. There wasn't, sorry, not rebellion. It's insurrection. There wasn't an insurrection happening, so there's not enough reason to send in the National Guard, even though they're there already, right? The National Guard is there.
Yeah.
They're we get a note that, we're hearing on the radio that some of our students are in the National Guard, and so they're going to leave our class to go help out and make sure that, I don't know, Wiener Circle doesn't swear at anybody, or serve an undocumented person. Anyway, that's not even and then Trump has finished his 8th war, has stopped his 8th war. He's there's like a shitstorm of like things to bewilder, us quote Democrats, because now we have to be Democrats because we either are Democrats or Republicans, right? There's a shitstorm, and then on the other side there's just this. There's like Christy, like these reality TV show Christy Nome, what do I call it? Klaus Barbie, like made for internet web videos of them like racing around Chicago, like I don't know, spraying tear gas at priests. It's like, I don't know, and that's like not even that. But then there's going to be peace in the Middle East. Like Donald Trump's going to the Middle East to build a hotel there on Gaza, I'm assuming. That's the end point, right? That they're not saying that, they're just saying he's going to end the war. And then there's whatever else is happening, right? Are women aren't allowed to vote anymore? I can't remember. Was that a proposal?
I haven't heard that.
Oh no, but there's going to be 2 halftime shows, so that's good, right? There are 2 halftime Super Bowl shows because we can't have a person speaking Spanish at the halftime.
Well, let's be fair. I mean, there have been multiple halftime shows. I mean, there's the Puppy Bowl, right? Does the Puppy Bowl still happen?
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to insult the whatever. God, man. So like I can't keep up because I want to feel a little bit angry and scared about what's going to happen in Chicago, right? I'm like, because our child is there, and our child's going to be out there with a camera. Maybe he's not though. Like if a priest is getting pepper sprayed.
Well, it's all happening out. What is it in Bridgeview? Not Bridgeview. Where is it?
I hope it's
a
not
lot of stuff is happening out on the outer edges. It's not in the city.
Oh,
I mean,
you don't
there are
mean
people
the outer,
being
yeah.
nabbed and stuff.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about like.
You don't mean the outer edges. You mean the borders of Illinois. Like I heard Pritzker say that they're trying to say like to call in the National Guard because there's an insurgent like there's an emergency.
Border Patrol, right?
Yeah, the Border Patrol. In order to call in the Border Patrol, they're saying that the border of Lake Michigan is the border of America.
Because, I mean, in theory, right, you could get from Canada, right? Yeah, Lake Michigan's.
Does Lake Michigan border Canada?
Does it? This is terrible.
I know.
My,
I hate this.
Geography teacher is rolling in his grave.
Yeah, is he dead?
I don't know. If he was dead, he'd be rolling in his grave.
All right. Well, what do you have to say? What do you make of all this?
What do I make of all of it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's... Here, I'm looking at
He's looking up the border of...
Mackinac Island.
Oh.
Wait,
yeah.
is it Gitchigumi? No. What?
I kind of feel like you can't get into...
I mean, you can't... Like, the Great Lakes are connected, right? But...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess, but is the border of Lake Michigan... Yeah, it's not... Well, I guess, no, it does. Ooh, no. Does it?
He did
does
like...
it abut Canada?
I don't know if it abuts Canada. I'm going to say no. I feel like no on that. But if you can get through... If those pesky Canadians can get through with their fucking... What do they have? Pentothal? No. What is it? What do they have? Cocaine? What are they bringing in the country?
Fentanyl.
I knew something like anol, right? Right. If they're bringing their fentanyl in through Lake Ontario, right? We've been in Canada. That area of Canada is kind of rough. So we got to call in the Border Patrol to get the yeah. And anyway,
Lake Michigan is the only Great Lake that is located entirely within the United States.
I know this because we've been.
I mean,
no, we were at the top of it. I remember looking at it. We weren't in Canada.
We weren't in.
We
Canada.
wanted to go to Canada.
Couldn't even see Canada from there.
That's right. So I saw J.B. Pritzker today, did like a dispatch, like coming to you from the hellhole of Chicago. It was funny. It's mildly funny.
Yeah, but it's a little. It was verging on Newsom territory. I mean, the thing about J.B. Pritzker is I like that he was, not memeing his way through this.
Yeah.
But I guess
it was
what you got to do.
It was a little relief. I liked that. That just whatever it was that he did today. I thought it was. He's not meme. He's pretty. It's interesting. I like listening to him because it's not there yet. It's not sound bites yet. It's like he misses the. I feel like it's like really. I feel like he's actually. These are the things he actually wants to say. I feel like. Or it's like, and this is the Pod Save America guys always talk about, like polling and making sure, being really safe that your message, is a safe message and stuff like that, and they're sick of that. But like I kind of like I feel like he doesn't go out there and be like Trump is stupid and everybody's like whoa, like I feel like he says he's stupid, but he says it in a complicated fashion.
He says he's delusional, right?
Yeah, it's really fun to listen. I'm like, what's he going to... Every time I see his little face, it's like, oh, what's he going to say next? I really like him.
His little face.
I like his little face.
Diminutive. You sound like Trump.
I'll tell you that I like men with pudgy faces, too.
Thanks.
I got like a pudgy face thing. Yeah. I don't like men with... The guys who are like taking the cheekbones out of their faces, I don't like that.
Buccal.
I don't like that.
What is it called?
That's the opposite of what I like. Why would you do that?
To look thinner, more attractive.
No, No, more, no. Anyway, so what do you, give me some more. Talk to us. Like, when you go on the news, what do you look for? Like, what have you been watching?
What do I look for?
Yeah, what do you look for in the
I
news?
look for stories of hope and joy.
Bullshit. What are you most concerned about?
What am I most concerned about?
Yeah.
Mm.
Grading.
Yeah, the resurfacing that's going to start in our neighborhood next week. You know, all news is local. All politics is local. So
are we really having resurfacing?
Some of the roads around here are going to get resurfaced.
Shit.
Yeah.
I love how, like, we have not crop shares. We have Cisco shares, right? That we paid into some sort of I think it's the sustainability students are doing this thing where, like, they're buying like giant shares of food, and then it's like a CSA, except they're buying some of the food from, like, distributors. And so we bought into that. And so on Fridays we have to go pick that up. And I was asking you guys if you pick it up, and you were picking up Dow. And then and Dow just wrote, "We can't make it to the Bones Student Center. Uptown has fallen."
It was weird because there was so much traffic, and this is not a huge town, and I was like, wow, it's like, and then we're driving around everywhere. And everything's backed up, and there's problems, and I was like, this is like, it's all of a sudden we're like in New York City all of a sudden.
Wow.
Because that kind of Manhattan, the more dense neighborhoods, and then so you're kind of like the old blocks where you're driving around, and everything's just backed up.
Yeah.
And you're waiting to turn into a side street or something, and so it turned out that they've closed off Uptown for the arts festival, but then also the world's largest dorm had a fire alarm, and so there were about 100,000 kids standing out in the middle of the street and blocking traffic and fire engines.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a spectacle. But I got so the thing is that I was late. I came at the last minute. There were like probably about 15 bags of things left, and they bring them to the local food pantry. But they go, but we get rid of them all. We're tasked with getting rid of them all. But please take whatever you want. If you want an extra potato, take an extra potato. That's why we have 5 potatoes downstairs. And then they're like, take an extra bag of spinach. People are leaving the spinach because they say if you don't want something, leave it. So they're like a bunch of bags, like little bags of spinach. So I was like, well, shit, we'll take the spinach. And then the guy's like, do you want a bag of spinach? And I was like, and he's like, please, can you please take a bag of spinach? And I was like, okay. Then he comes out with like a pillow-sized, like a giant pillow-sized bag of spinach.
I was going to say like a 5-pound bag of spinach, but it's not. It's probably like 12 ounces, but it was gigantic. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like the size of a pillow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, way more. That's that, and they have like 5 more bags of it too. And there was like a lone student was picking up their shares, and I go, you want some spinach? And they just look at me like they're, no, nobody wants
no more
spinach. No.
That's weird because it cooks down.
I know. It's going to, right? So I had 2 guest speakers today in my classes, which I taught on Friday. Apparently that's a thing. Like, apparently people don't like to have classes on Friday. But I had 2 special guests. You may know both of them, because they both asked where you were. Like how come Rick is not with you? How come you guys are not together every single moment of the day? Wait, if you did something, why is Rick not there? How did you do this by yourself? You mean you teach a class by yourself? That's what it was like. Little lady? No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't like that. But in the first class, in the music business class, I had Alfonso Smith.
Oh, is his name?
His name is Alfonso.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So, friend of ours who signed a little band you may know as the Melvins to Atlantic, and who else?
Jawbox, right? Did he do Jawbox?
Oh.
Jawbox was on Atlantic.
That's
did he?
Right.
I feel like he. Yeah, I feel like he.
That's so funny. And my secret word of the day was Walt Mink. That students had to write, and he was like, he was laughing about that.
But he didn't have anything to do with Walt Mink. That was Columbia.
God, no.
Really?
Yeah, he liked Walt Mink.
Right, but I think Walt Mink wound up on Columbia.
Oh.
Yeah, because they weren't going to
Shit.
be on even a Warner's related, so Warner Electro-Atlantic.
Oh, maybe. I hope I didn't
Because
piss him
of-
off.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh man, I should have just written Melvin's. He had a Melvin's shirt on too. But anyway,
Walt Mink, which at the time featured
Joey
the drummer from Oasis.
Joey's drumming for Oasis now.
He was, on this last
Man.
tour.
Okay.
Anyways.
Anyway, so yes, Spinach is awesome. Michael Markowski says yes. Kids today.
Ooh,
So
I got a note from Popeye. It says just a thumbs up and a wink
okay.
emoji saying
Oh, good.
about Spinach.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? So
Sorry.
no, that's okay. My grip on reality at this point is very tenuous. There were a good amount of students there, and they were like interested to hear what he said. But like I was like, where did you start out? So he started out. He said, he started out working in a record store. I think now I'm trying to remember everything because it's been a very long day. But he ended up working. He did like A&R for Virgin also. When I have these guest speakers, the students have got to fill out a quiz. And so the first thing they have to say is the person's name, and then they have to say their title, and then they have to say their career path. Like, because I feel like that's how I learned about the music industry. It's just like, oh, how did you get this job? What was your career path? You finished college, and then what did you do afterwards? And then how did you get all your jobs, So they have to write that out. They have to ask each speaker that and find out. And then they have to write something interesting about the speaker. Like what is the speaker like? Why do you think they got this job? Like what's their personality like? They have to write that, and then they have to write one cool thing that they learned. So what I didn't know, I guess, like he started like was working the record. Yeah, he was working at Tower Records, and he was like describing it. He loved it, And then I was like, wait, what did you do before this? And he was working at Tower Records in New York City, right? What did you do before this? Oh, I went to school in Ann Arbor. I got to keep my glasses on. He goes, I entered college. I came to college with 12 albums, and I left with 4,000. When I graduated, I had 4,000.
Wow.
And he worked at the college radio station, and he was just so into like music. He loved music so much, that he went to see bands all the time and stuff. So imagine that, from 12 records on, in college, like when he entered, and then 4,000. And that's such a tagline, isn't that amazing? Like the more we listen, and then he worked. So part of it, he worked at Tower Records. He went to New York City, moved to New York City, and then got this job at Tower Records 2 days. 2 days after he landed there in New York City, because he looked for a job and they were hiring there, and he wore a suit. And he just knew his shit. He and then he also talked about just going to CBGB's like every night, like and then working there, like he was a sound guy there too. But he said CBGB's, and the kids, like he's like, that's an old club that these old rock people, and it's funny, like I saw somebody had already turned in their paper, and when they spelled out CBGB's CEEBEEGEEBEES, so
Nice.
They don't even know what CBGB's is. Like they don't even have the shirt, they haven't seen the shirt. So anyway, but he said, so I spent years like seeing 5 bands every night, so I knew my shit. And then he talked about how like A&R people would come in, because A&R people always used to go to CBGB's, right? And they would have lists of bands they had to check out, and he would be like, oh, this band sucks, this band's great. He would tell them which bands to see, and then after a while they were like, oh my God, you're right, this band did suck and this band was great. You have great taste in music. And that's how he ended up with his job. But like, just kind of talked about how like, and he, if hopefully the kids will write, he was very confident, because he had so much confidence. Yeah, he was that was awesome. He was just fantastic. Then he was asking the kids, like what they were listening to and writing it down and stuff. Just absolutely fantastic. Just wonderful, wonderful guest speaker. But such visceral stories that like afterwards I was texting him. I was like, dude, you have to write a book. Somebody asked him what was it like, with the Melvins. Or I asked him, what was it like shepherding the Melvins through A&R, at Atlantic? And he was like, well, and I think somebody asked, did the label ask any stupid stuff? Because he was saying, A&R person, your job is to shield the band from the stupid things that the record label's asking you to do. And so somebody said, well, what was one of the stupid things? He said, well, what's the Melvins?
King Buzzo.
Buzzo, yeah. He said Buzzo's one of Buzzo's best friends was Kurt Cobain, and this was right after the Nirvana record hit big, right? So this was the time, right? And so he said, so the record label's decision was that Kurt Cobain should produce the Melvins record, and he said, which was a really stupid idea because Kurt Cobain at the time was busy doing lots of drugs, had lots of problems and stuff like that. So he was talking about all that too. Like, these are the stories that my kids got to hear in their college class today. And that's why at the end I was like, dude, you've got to write a book, because he has these, he has already, my book only has one good sentence in it. And that's I just rang the doorbell to Steve Albini's house because I was thinking about all this stuff because I was going to record a record with him. That's legit the only good sentence in my book. So I started with that. But he could be and then I looked at his Facebook profile, and his Facebook profile was I worked in the record industry for 20 years and I still love music. That's the name of your memoir, So, oh man. Somebody so talented and has such great stories to tell, So I was so excited about that. It was fantastic. And then, so that was my first guest speaker, the guy who signed the Melvins, right? And just, and it's funny too, because he was talking about how much he loved working at Tower Records. And the guy who, I think there's a guy who works in a record store here who talked about how much he hated working at Tower Records. He'll talk in front of my students and talk about that was I can't remember who it is, but somebody talks about how much they hated working at Tower Records. So it's funny. That's my bucket list, is to have two people standing in front of my students at different times telling them complete opposites.
I think, it also kind of changed, I think. Tower Records started out a little more cool, right? And then
I'm sure, yeah, because he did say this was back in the 80s, or the beginning of 90s, right? Beginning of 90s, yeah. What?
Reed is asking about habeas corpus. I don't know what's going on there.
What?
It's just trying to
Does habeas corpus
dislodge us.
Mean nothing to you? Did she die in vain? Russ, Reed. I'm going to continue. So my next guest speaker was Mike Moraski from Steel Pole Bathtub, who also composed the music to every good video game that my children know. My 17 to 25-year-old children know. Portal 2, Left 4 Dead, right? What's the other one? Team Fortress 2. And so that room was packed to hear Mike talk. That was really, really cool. Our game design room was just packed, and so we were asking him questions too. And he's got he's trained at a conservatory, but never finished college. And he also asked where you were. How can you do your job without Rick?
That's not what they're asking. Mm-hmm. I think when they say, "Where's Rick?"
Where's Rick?
Why is Rick not here?
Why is Rick not here? Yeah. So I'm trying to think of what that was kind of mind blowing. All this, what did he talk about? What did they ask him about? One kid at the end, it was a great question. This was a kid who didn't even go to school at ISU. Because there were people he graduated from Bradley and he was there, and he said, well, I'm an outlier because I don't go to school here, but I graduated a couple of years ago, and I'm trying to work in the game industry. And I can't seem to get a job, and I feel like this is soul crushing. Why am I even working? How do you continue being creative when you can't find a job? So that was a really good question,
What was the answer?
Well, it's so I want to tell you my answer that I thought to myself in my head, like why would you keep going even though you're not getting paid for this artwork? And what kept you? What did you do in order to make yourself create? And my answer is I got breast cancer. Because like I wasn't writing my book. I was like, I don't know. And then I don't know, for some reason when I got breast cancer, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to write this fucking book. That's, like it was kind of like, oh, I don't have this existential pain anymore of, oh, no one's going to like my creation. It's like like I got a health problem that I actually had to worry about. Like, and then really I couldn't do anything about it. I had to just get treated and stuff like that. But it was kind of like, it kind of put it into perspective, It was like a health problem. It was like all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm not getting paid. I'm not, why should I create if I don't have a job of being paid to create? And that's what happened. It's like, oh.
Well, I mean, kind of you writing the book and it being published through a university press, that is kind of your job, and you're getting paid to do that work.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, and I probably don't. Well, I do. I knit and shit like that, and I make all these like extra little things and stuff. Like I broke all the tiles in the floor. I don't really create for the public, so that's, I guess, I guess I'm not a good case, but I was thinking that in my mind. I was thinking like have a health problem, or have something to change your perspective, and then maybe you'll create, because you realize, oh, well, life is short. I should create stuff. That's what happened to me. Anyway, what Mike talked about, Mike said, well, first check in with yourself. I think he was saying, he was kind of like, why. And he could have gone two ways with that. And I think he was trying to say, why are you creating? Are you creating because you're creative, or are you creating in order to get paid, for it? But he also, said, what do you actually want to do? Like maybe, if maybe you're not doing the thing that you actually want to do, right? Maybe you're an animator and you're creating music instead, and you're trying to shove yourself into something that you actually don't really want to do. So he was talking about checking in with yourself. He had a lot of different answers for this. And he also said, you could just get a job at a coffee shop too, and do that, and then when you come home, then you can be creative and stuff. He said that, and he said that he worked for years. He worked in construction, and then he came home and he was like, all right, it's time to create now, and he said, but that's just him, and he also said that this is his answer, and take it with a grain of salt. His answer is not for everybody, but he's very energetic to create. It was a great last question. It was really, really, really wonderful last question. So I thought about you too, because you went through this kind of, I remember you going through this, and I always want to ask you what happened, because you create now. Like, I hear you downstairs, you're mixing the Salaryman record.
But you're saying I stopped creating?
Feel like it's not that you stopped, you questioned why you were doing it.
Well, yeah, that's,
and then
I think that's just part and parcel. And it's not even, but it's not related to, I'm not getting paid for this, or that's, I think what I was going through is just basic issues with the creative process, right? It's like you question, and why, because it's not always a joyful experience, and so it's just kind of like, why am I doing this to myself? I think, that's what I go through a lot. It's just kind of like, why am I doing this? But I don't think I'm questioning, why do I create, or if I'm not getting paid, how do I stay motivated? And it's just kind of like, I think it's just, I just want to keep doing it.
You have to. It's a fucking reality.
Yeah.
Right? That's what
and
Ian said.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, that whole idea of, it's got to be rewarding all the time is ridiculous. But I mean, you do question why you do it, right? So then it's like, why are you doing this? And so, I think that's just a common issue with anyone who does creative work, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of wondering why am I going through this?
Yeah.
That's what that book, The War of Art, right? Not The Art of War, The War of Art.
Yeah.
The author, who it's, all about that. It's just like, oh yeah, no, it's a struggle and everything like that. And also the whole world is constructed to discourage you and take you away from the creative path.
How so?
First off, there's, you could say economically, but then also it's just like even that's the thing is like even people who love and support you, it's like, oh, they tell you, why are you doing this to yourself? Why you're suffering? Why are you wasting time on this and everything like that? It's like it's even that's why it's the war of art is because there are all these forces, even positive forces, right? People who are supportive or care for you, possibly are telling you, not to do it. Right. And so it's a battle. It's not a joyful run in the woods.
Do you feel like your thoughts on all this changed though, like over the last 10 years? Like, do you have a different perspective at all?
I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Or like just the fact that I have to do it. That's what I do, and it's something, I don't know, it's important. But I've talked about this, right? The horrible kind of sinking feeling that the reason why I do creative stuff is because at some point in time I got positive feedback and just, clung to that and then, started doing more, right, through that. And it's just a simple kind of reward response.
Wait, so you're saying that you might be doing there's a horrible prospect of the possibility that you're doing this for more positive feedback. You're looking for somebody
not
to
more positive feedback.
Yeah.
It's just sort of set on this path of like so desperate for any kind of attention or reward or compliment that getting a little bit of positive reaction at some point, and then it was just like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this, But I think I've gotten past that.
Yeah, you haven't
It's
gotten
more
positive
complicated.
feedback for a while.
Yeah, no, I know.
It is more complicated.
It is a war.
Hmm.
So that's the thing, though, is like, okay, so being creative, right, and so and then having a job in a creative industry, right? I think those are two separate things in a way.
Yeah.
Or they're not a singular thing. Being creative and making a living being creative, that's a big leap, right?
Yeah,
So,
those two things I feel like should be unrelated.
well, I mean, not unrelated, but it's when they're tied together, I guess that's the problem. Is the commercialization or the capitalism, right?
Yeah.
Or just surviving through creativity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. And he did start with that too. He said, for example, like he talked for a little while to answer this question. And then he said, like, for example, like he just did some art thing with an art friend, like a legit art friend. And it was machinist music, right? And he did something at an art gallery, and it was so much fun. He had the best time doing it. But I got the feeling what he was trying to say was that was not a paying gig.
Right.
Right. And so like and but that was like, it was like just, it fed his soul, it made him really, really happy and stuff. And that's what I'm talking about, like, that the just maybe trying to make sure that our students know that when they graduate, it's okay to not have a job that pays you to be creative. Like we're trying, like I want people to transcend that. I want you to have meaningful, creative lives, and that doesn't, if you can make a living doing that, sometimes that's wonderful. I said to my students, consider yourself lucky if you can do that. And then I ran into some student outside, like yesterday. I was talking to them, and they were like, they were talking about graduating, and I said, what are you going to do when you graduate? Oh, I already have a job. I'm going to be creative, but I already have a job, and it doesn't really have anything to do with being creative, but it makes me plenty of money so that I can do my creativity, and I said, that's wonderful. It's just it's so great to hear somebody say that, I like hearing that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess Josh Brush, sometimes creating art can break you, and then you go back to it and feel better about it. Compliment. Both of you create beautiful art, and I personally appreciate it. Aw,
That's
thanks.
nice.
That's very nice. Okay. So what else? How'd you like the Tron movie?
Haven't seen it yet.
That's right. And I don't believe that the Tron movie is coming out. I know we're going to hate it like we hated the last one. And it pisses me off that we're not going to get to see it today.
So and then always forgetting that the original Tron, it's
didn't like that either.
Great, but it's not it's flawed.
It's great, but it's not good.
I always fall asleep when they're on that light boat, whatever that is, for like an hour.
Yeah. That's that's when you can go and get popcorn, though.
Yeah.
Why are they on the light boat? That's like Excalibur. That is a shout out to Excalibur. Great movie. Can't remember who directed it. Lots of good. Who directed it? Do you know?
Excalibur?
Yeah.
Not John Frankenheimer, John Boorman.
Okay, John Boorman. Great movie, but right at the end, they go on a boat forever. And I think they do that in a Monty Python movie, too.
Yeah, I think, Tron, I think that's just an early sort of example of sort of like sunken cost. Like you basically, made this special effects sequence, and it's kind of like you're not going to cut it down. It was like a huge investment of time and money, and it's kind of like you're not going to chop it in half.
So, but you talked to what are we calling bad boy now? Cameraman. Okay, you talked to cameraman who got with his fancy fucking school. He got to go see it for free earlier than all the rest of us. So
yeah,
what's the
cost fallacy? Thank you.
Yeah.
He had a nuance. He liked some of it and liked the visual aspects, and also the recreation of the kind of original, whatever it's called, in the first movie, that environment.
Oh.
The original Tron world, right? There's a recreation of that in the new film, and it looks like it.
Yeah, that's neat.
It's got the film grain and the weird kind of black and white with the animation painting over it, and all the crazy whatever that process was crazy.
Now you're just making me think about the movie Existence. We should just watch that if we can't go out, like we can't go see Tron.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the opposite. Was it? Oh, no. It was the, oh, God, no. Now I'm thinking about the 12 Monkeys, the
La Jetée.
La Jetée, yeah. Like just talking about, now I'm getting all confused about like special effects and like the real subtle, like non-special effects.
Practical effects?
I don't know. Anyway.
Well, I guess those are special effects too.
Are we going to go see it?
I don't know. Maybe. I guess. We'll see.
Yeah, like that's funny because I don't want to watch the old one because the old one is like, it's like watching Star Wars. It's like just a C major triad chord. It's like, okay, let's play that again. But like then the second one I don't want to watch either. And I can't remember why.
We watched it a bunch of times because the kids liked it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think we have a copy of it. I don't think we have it on Blu-ray or Ultra HD, but we've got the second movie. We might have the first one on something. Maybe got on a laser disc somewhere.
You know what? Mike said something really interesting. Like somebody asked him about like, what was the question? It was something like what what inspired you or something. Just and he talked about his, he actually said the words Brian Eno together. So like that's like the third time my students have heard the words Brian Eno, and they don't know who that is yet. So somebody's going to have to teach them. But he said, oh no, I've forgotten what it was. Shit. Oh, he mentioned something about, he said, this is not like a, oh my God, inspiration, like lightning strike. But he said he was watching The Social Network, that movie. And there's a part where Mark Zuckerberg is just programming, and the soundtrack, like the Trent Reznor, like the soundtrack is so cool. It makes it's like you're like watching Mark Zuckerberg programming, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
and it should be the most boring thing is to watch somebody programming, and yet, like the music makes it exciting. So I thought that was really, he was like, oh, well, if he can do that, I can, or something like that. That's what I got out of that. So,
but yeah, the cameraman said, what did he call it? Reznor slop or something?
Yeah.
He said it was just pretty generic. But no, it's more, I think it's more Nine Inch Nails-y. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Cameraman said he was texting with Mike Moraski, and that's how he knows that you can put distortion on drums now.
I was asking about some sound, one of the game soundtracks.
Yeah. So, well, that was my day at work. What did you do?
I prepared for my class and helped students out with questions about the midterm assignment that's due tonight.
What's your midterm assignment?
Well, it's just building this kind of mini site.
A website?
Yeah, just multiple web pages.
With Squarespace?
No. Yeah, still teaching hand coding, but we'll see.
No, I mean, that somebody was talking about that today, just, like, oh, I had to do it might have been Mike, had to learn, like, oh, God, he had to learn some other, scripting language. And he was like, fuck, I'm too old to have to learn another scripting language. But then I think he was talking about, using the AI to kind of help just the translation, like just learning it.
Vibe coding.
Yeah, which is really cool. Mike says Fugazi put a flanger on the, I've heard it both ways because I just said it the wrong way. Put a flanger on the drums on one of their songs on instrument. That's the other thing too. We got to watch the We Are Fugazi from Washington D.C. documentary.
Yeah, so that's live stuff? What is it?
I can't remember. Ian told me a whole long thing about it, and I can't remember any of it, what he said. I can't remember anything anymore.
Okay.
But because he said it was done in a different way than all the other documentaries were done. That's what I retained. I can't remember, but I would definitely want to see it. And when we're going to try to get it played here, and then some of the money, according to the distribution deal, is that some of the money has to go to a charity of our choice. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it is
I like
nice.
that. All right. All right. I talked about my guest speakers. I asked you some questions. What else you got?
Oh, my new favorite YouTube
Oh
channel.
my God! Yes, you need to be talking about that. Holy shit! So what did you go from? What were you watching before? You had a little bit of Taskmaster always.
Oh yeah, there's new season of Taskmaster.
Yeah.
So and now it's live. Like you can, they'll stream it on YouTube live when it's released. I think simultaneously with when it comes out in the UK.
Cool. Yeah.
On TV. So they're doing. So yeah, I can watch. Although I didn't watch it was it yesterday?
Yeah.
It was a new episode. I watched it a few hours after the live stream.
You were like, I had to run in the room because you were making so much noise. It was actually literally rolling on the floor laughing.
So it's been a while since they've had a task or a competition that was totally unhinged, and it was oddly unhinged. Yeah, the final task in the studio where they had to they basically had to do a complex logic problem whether or not they were going to eat this little chocolate, and depending on how many of them ate it, somebody would get more points, and it was just
it was
hugely
one of those
complex. And then,
like the thing where like the social experiment where if everybody agrees on something, then you each get $5. But if there's something that you can do that makes you don't get anything, but the people around you lose $3 or something, and then people always choose to make their partners lose or their opponents lose.
And so it was very funny and dramatic. Watch It for Days is my new obsession, and it's been a channel for a while, but episode by episode deep dives, quote reviews of Columbo episodes. So
it's fantastic. This
really,
girl's got the most beautiful voice too.
It's
I like her voice.
Funny voice, and then she's going through, and also because of copyright takedowns, so she's just showing like little snippets of each episode, and then freeze framing, and then she has to do all the complex ballet to keep it from getting a pull down notice. But just going through and
it's like your 500 songs. It's like that kind of research.
It's 500 songs. He's doing an even deeper dive. Yeah, but
he does. But she does like a shallow dive over like hours of material. He's picking one song.
Yeah.
So
he's not. Yeah, 500 songs. It's never one song. It's Led Zeppelin just finished the epic Led Zeppelin Dazed and Confused series in 500 songs, and it was the first section of that song. They didn't even mention Led Zeppelin. It was amazing. But
so for instance, you're watching give us a what will she stop on and then talk about?
Everything kind of, so opening sequence, the location, the mansion where this is taking place.
She'll stop it and she'll be like, this mansion is called blah, 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 and it was built in blah, blah, blah by this person, and she'll have pictures of all the people who built it.
Director, who's directed, had they directed an episode before, music, who's done the music.
Yeah.
And then what the amazing thing is kind of like statues and things, the set dressing. So it's like, oh, do you recognize this horse statue? That was in... Murder Most Foul, in season 1, and like there's overlap because it's all, what is it, the Universal? I can't remember where Columbo was made, but like one of the studios. And so, and then
now this is not Taskmaster. This is called.
Watch It for Days.
This is a
it's
YouTube
basically
series.
Columbo reviews. So watch it, and but like background. So not just like looking at the main actors with speaking roles in the episode, but then there are people who are just standing around in the background, like in crowd scenes, and she somehow has access to information on who that is, and then saying, oh, this is Joe so and so who appeared in the background uncredited in 300 television shows, between 1965 and 1990, and they'll be in the background.
She'll have like a
5
picture
more
of it.
Columbo episodes, or it'll be like, oh, and there's so and so again. There's Joe Blow again. He was in the episode, with what's his name, or something.
She'll have like a picture of him, like a fuzzy, background picture of him, like with a red circle around it, like with an arrow pointing to it. Remember this guy? Yeah.
And then commentary about the dynamic and the story and what, how it plays out, and different scenes. Oh, and like how, and I feel like I would notice this stuff, but like how often they're like in scenes where somebody's walking down a hallway and then you see all the film cables, like the power cables that are set up for filming, or like in the background of an outdoor scene, and then she'll like point out, oh, and there are a bunch of cables in the gutter over there. That's probably for the film crew, It's just all the little details. But then Taskmaster, the other one, somebody said they hadn't heard of Taskmaster, and so definitely should check out. They're 20 series, not seasons. In England they call them series, but start with series 1, episode 1. It's kind of a game show with comedians, and they're competing in tasks to win a valuable prize, which is a statue, a head of a bust of Greg Davis, the comedian. Davies.
I saw Josh Johnson do something really funny, like more political humor again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why he was talking to us about climbing hills, but whatever.
Well, he's trying to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to just be a political comedian.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Because at some point you
Politics
become irrelevant.
Oh, you get
the
canceled.
world changes.
Yeah.
Unlike other comedians, who do non-political comedy, and then they don't become irrelevant. No, they do. And then they rage and say they can't do comedy anymore because, you are on the cutting edge of culture, and then the culture moved on. You're old now, and that's why people are not reacting to your comedy well, or negatively reacting, is because you're no longer on the cutting edge of culture. It's moved on. You're an old person. Not being canceled.
You're old man yelling at the cloud, at the older clouds.
Old man yelling at the older man.
All right. So what do you got on? What are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to?
Yeah.
Holy cow. I don't know. I don't have
I don't live
anything.
my life that way. You looking
I'm
forward
trying
to
to think.
spinach?
Yeah, I don't have any. Boy, yeah.
Okay, I got a recipe for people.
I mean, you know what? I finally got. So I could talk a little bit about the World Cup.
Yeah.
So
You get your tickets?
So this is the thing, it's so cockamamie. Like, so up until a week or two ago for World Cup tickets, you have to buy into this Ponzi scheme, or you'd buy
Tariff scheme?
You'd buy. I think they might actually be similar to NFTs or something, or these kind of not certificates, but that would give you an opportunity then, a potential opportunity then to buy tickets for a match.
It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, kind of you have to, but you don't get anything. You're buying right to buy. So you're buying some kind of prize to get you the right to buy a ticket. But anyways, now
when you spend that money, are you for sure you're going to be able to get?
So that was
crazy.
What was happening for the past 6 months. Now there's a lottery or a drawing, and so Visa card holders, credit card holders could put in their names for this lottery, and then they're picking people randomly out of that, and then you get the opportunity to buy tickets for matches.
Visa card holders?
Yeah. So it was done through Visa.
And how much is each ticket?
So here's the thing. Okay. So I put in to the lottery because we have a Visa card, right? And so I was able to log in and put my name in, and I think and then it was we'll start telling people, giving people access to buy tickets October 1st, I think was when it started out. And I was and then I didn't get an email, and then looking online, it's people are all talking. It's has anybody gotten an invitation to? And it's no, and then some people had, and then it's this whole thing where then you have to log in, and you wind up in a queue, and it's a certain time window, and all this.
This is
kind of
a Trent Reznor thing. This is like the 9 Inch Nails thing.
But it was what, 2 weeks ago? Well, 10 days ago when this was happening, and it was and I didn't get an email, and then people are saying, oh yeah, but then they said, oh, but they're gonna just keep going, and so they're gonna have phases, right? So they, and so just today I got an email saying you now have the opportunity to purchase tickets. I think starting my window is 9 a.m. Monday.
How much are the tickets?
So here's the thing.
And knowing
And-
full
and
well that if you know how to
people
dig up a
are-
basement, by the way.
Yeah.
We
So
need-
people are ranting because they had said that, starting ticket prices for, the first. So it's insane now because it's going to be, is it 48 teams? They expanded it out, or it used to, did it used to be?
Is it even going to be
32?
here in America?
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
America, Canada, Mexico. So, they were saying tickets are going to start at $60, for nosebleed and everything like that. And what's going on right now is nothing close to that.
Tariffs?
It's like, yeah. So even the first stage, so is that like the 48 teams? So, those games, it sounds like, yeah, the prices are already something, in the hundreds starting out for, like nosebleeds, and then, thousands for closer seats. So, yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Who do you want to see?
Well, they're one of the match locations is Kansas City. So that's the nearest to here.
Wow.
So what is it, like New Jersey, Kansas City? Is it Los Angeles, San Diego? I'm trying to remember the United States cities that they're having.
Can't
No
believe-
Chicago, like Chicago didn't.
Well, it is a hellhole.
Yeah, but it was just like, there's no. I think it was kind of like the Olympics thing or the sports stadium thing, where it's just like the amount of money and infrastructure costs, to host games. It was just too much. It was just like, nah, we're not going to do it. So, yeah.
So
I'll
we have
see.
tickets? Or
No.
did you just buy tickets for yourself?
No.
It's just
So
gonna be
Monday, I'm gonna log in and I'm gonna look around. But I have.
What's your
feeling-
top price?
What's
that
my
you would-
top price?
Yeah.
That's the thing is I can't. I don't think I can afford buying. Yeah, anything, even in the hundreds. Yeah. Tons of people are just like, I was so excited to find out that I was going to, have access to not be able to afford World Cup tickets.
Yeah, like anything, like going to see any show now is very,
Yeah.
very expensive. Like weird. Like that. That's the thing with the Biden. What is it called? Inflation. The inflation that. Oh no, Biden's not really our president anymore, right? It's Trump. So the Trumpflation. I'm like trying to make peace with it, because I know I feel bad for people who can't afford stuff who probably voted for him, but they're happy. Like from what I hear, they're happy that they're pwning the libs. As long as the libs have to pay more, they're happy paying more. Also, they weren't happy when Biden was president and there was inflation. That was a problem. But now that Trump is president and there's inflation, they're happy about the inflation. So I've been trying to make peace with the inflation too. So like. There have been like some things that are like so much more expensive, but then I'm like, well, like noodles. This is not what I was thinking about, but like noodles, I used to go for the 80-cent packages of noodles, like the 60 or 16-ounce package of noodles, like the blue, noodle package that you would get at the store. And it was like sometimes 89 cents and sometimes it was $1 and sometimes it was $1.09 and stuff. And they're at least $2.50 for that same thing, right? And so then what I do with the inflation, I think about how happy the MAGA people are that I'm having to pay more for my noodles. So I'm happy that somebody's happy. I actually do think that. I actually think to
I
myself,
don't think the MAGA people are happy about inflation hurting liberals.
I've seen it though. I've seen people write like on the
I think the
Facebook.
owning the libs stuff is the more sort of just cultural thing.
Yeah, but I did see somebody say, hey, if it makes a libtard cry, I'm all for the inflation. That's what it struck me. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, okay. But so then what I do is that I divide the noodles by the price. So I think to myself, well, there's probably 400 noodles in this package. And so 400 divided by $2. And then I think about how much each noodle probably costs. Probably like a fifth of a cent or something. And I'm like, well, it's worth it. I'll just eat less.
That's like doing the math. Yeah, so I would do math on shows. Like how much am I paying per song when I'm seeing this band?
Yeah.
Right. So, paying $32. What was it? Like Bob Mould, we didn't pay, but like the Bob Mould show, right? $35, and he played like 25 songs or whatever.
Like didn't even stop in between.
Yeah,
that's
so
a good
like,
value. That's
like $1.50 a song or something, right?
And
so
per
like,
decibel too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's doing that math. It's kind of
so
like,
by the same token, and I will say token, you can, like a sports, like let's do the score, okay? So soccer game's going to cost you $500, and the ending score is going to be 90 minutes, but it's going to be 1-0. So
well, actually, World Cup game. Oh yeah. You still do ties until the end, right? Yeah.
Maybe it's 2-3. Okay, so that's 5 total goals. So you're paying $100 a goal.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is so
not worth
on
it.
top of it, it's like the brackets haven't been announced yet or anything. I think it's going to be announced in Washington D.C. with Trump. Disgusting, but yeah. So it's kind of like, oh, you can. Well, I mean, I guess if you're dumping $250,000 on tickets for the quarterfinals or the semifinals, right? Then you know that it's going to be some top teams, but it's like
still going to be like 3-2.
Paying like $500,000 to watch, a bunch of losers play in Kansas City, that are going to be knocked out in the first round. It's just kind of like a.
And think about who you're going to be sitting with if you do get the big tickets.
That's what somebody said. It's like the way to watch the World Cup is outside with a crowd of people watching a jumbotron in a park, right? Not with a bunch of
or like
rich
a
guys.
Mexican restaurant.
Not with a bunch of rich guys in a stadium. A bunch of the 1%.
So Chrissy says it's already borderline unlivable for me. I'm a crying libtard. So think of it. I saw this guy. I reposted somebody saying something like I thought it was really, really interesting what this guy was saying. Like somebody, what were they yelling about? Oh, you there. It was like a town hall, and the guy was like somebody was yelling, you libtards, you want the undocumented, you want the illegals to be getting health care, you want them to be getting health care, Medicare. I can't believe you want that. And and the guy was like, that's illegal, that's not happening, that's totally not what's happening. And then this guy is like, listen, please try listening to each other. You all want the same thing. And you shouldn't be shaming these people. And then I was like, well, who's he talking to? And he was like, if your neighbor's house burns down, you don't run over there and laugh at them. It's your neighbor. Even if they're a different party than you, you don't laugh at them. And then he was like saying, or their house gets robbed, I think is what he said. Their house gets robbed, you don't go over there and shame them and laugh at you. These people's, then he said, like, what did he say? Their critical thinking skills have been robbed from them. Mm-hmm. And so you shouldn't be shaming them.
Oh.
Like, that's what he was saying. You're like, we need to figure out a different way to talk to each other.
But I would say that the kind of crazy anti-empathy logic that's in place now, those talking points, it's like if your liberal neighbor got robbed, then they would say, see, this is your fault.
Yeah.
You're being easy on criminals and immigrants, and you got what you deserved. Yeah. It's not empathy for the fact that they got robbed, right?
I don't think
like,
this,
you're getting what you the chickens are coming home to roost. You got what you deserve.
Certainly, and I don't think that this man was like talking with the thought that the MAGAs would hear him. I think it was more like for us crying libtards. It's just like these people's
they're
Common
compromised. They've been compromised,
Yeah,
and so it's
common
like,
sense have been,
yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, have
Yeah.
empathy, but the thing is that, yeah, it's the everybody, the riding the bus, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
it's like, oh, everybody should be allowed to sit on the bus and anywhere they want, but this is, but there's a person who wants to grab the steering wheel of the bus and steer it off, and it's like we should allow they have a right to their opinion and their beliefs, and we have to be equitable. And it's like, well, no, this is a maniac,
And
right?
he's going to stop us from
And
getting
so
our vaccines.
I guess you can have empathy
Yeah.
for the fact that, oh, poor thing, they're delusional, right, and feel sorry. But the thing is that if they're proactively, destroying the world or humanity or other people, not even proactively, or just supporting that, and railing against empathy and equality,
Yeah, it's
then
amazing.
it's kind of like, well,
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do, I think.
Chrissy says, they're also spoon-fed these things they say, the talking points. Yeah. And so I have something else here I'm missing, like Fugazi, and then over Josh reminds me to say my recipe, but also versus having empathy for Republicans paying for inflation at the grocery store. I mean, empathy, when you have empathy for somebody, it doesn't make them feel better. It makes you feel better. Thank you, the Buddha.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess so. You're saying that empathy is selfish.
I'm not saying that.
Elon?
What I'm saying for us crying libtards is that when you have empathy for somebody, that's not going to make them feel better. They're not going to feel that at all. I think you're just going to feel it. Like you won't be as mad, and you won't be like laying in bed like fussing about something that there's that maybe you can't do anything about this right now. There are other things to do, but I'm just saying that, like, I don't know, just for me, hearing this guy talk about like that,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I guess the idea that, oh yeah, you shouldn't fight fire with fire, or you shouldn't be, denigrating.
I'm not
people,
I'm not sure if I'm saying that either.
Yeah. Well, so then I don't understand. It's like, yeah, you can, but like sort of having empathy, and it's like, oh, these are damaged people that don't have their critical thinking skills have been damaged, or
compromised.
they've been compromised by
Yeah.
propaganda or whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, you can sorry for that, but the thing is like, oh, but you shouldn't react to them and fight back against them. You should just accept that, oh, let's say, oh, a whole group of people, were compromised by propaganda, and then their whole society, executed 8 million of their population, right?
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
no,
you should
I
have
don't
empathy
think
for these damaged.
Yeah. I don't think that's what I'm saying. I'm
Well,
trying
I'm not
to figure.
saying what you're saying. I'm just saying, it's kinda
when
like,
you take it the
like,
wrong way, and
what's-
then
I
take
guess
it too
what
far.
like demeaning them and saying they're idiots. I guess that would be, like, yeah, don't do that, I guess. But it's kind of like, or maybe, and you could even say it's condescending, which is like, oh, these poor little, damaged creatures, these imbeciles are, you have to treat them as a lower class of humanity because they're damaged or dumb, right? And
I think like, I'm trying. I guess this is how I'm solving this, so I can sleep at night. And I go through, when I read my Heather Cox Richardson, I wake up in the middle of the night because I'm postmenopausal, and I wake up like about 5 times in the middle of the night. One of the times I allow myself to read my Heather Cox Richardson. and then she'll write at the bottom of it after you've read it, she'll be like, you should leave this one till the morning. Like, so she's, but you read it and then you can either get so fucking mad at these fucking asshole, I don't know if they're stupid or they have no empathy, they're stupid or they're selfish. I don't know what's wrong with them, but there is nothing I can do in my bed except fret about them and get like a pit of despair in my stomach. Or I can like say a prayer, like a Christian prayer for them or a Buddhist prayer for them in my stomach and just go back to sleep, and then try to figure out how to solve the problem. And I also think that like, there's a way where like you can, like my mom is always fighting with people online, and she's like, trying to change their minds. She's fighting with bots probably online, right? Trying to change their minds, like trying to change a MAGA person's mind, and they won't change. You're not going to change their mind because it's their fucking religion.
Yeah, but yeah, and so I guess
that's where I'm saying like you
so
don't let yourself get so damaged from this.
Yeah.
Maybe is what
so
I'm
if it's
saying.
Not don't argue with these people because they're compromised, and you should have you should feel sorry for them, right? It's more just don't fight with them because they're lost causes.
I think so, yeah. Or that's not the way to fight with them. The way to fight with them is, to ask questions like, oh, well, is that what you learn in church? Like are you're a good Christian, right? Like I'm there's all kinds of like little shorts online with people interviewing people and stuff like that. So you ask questions and just we've lost. We're a lost cause. The Democrats are a lost cause. I'm not even saying I'm a Democrat, but like we lost. And these people, the 40% that still love Trump, still fucking love him.
Yeah,
we lost. So we're not. We have to figure out a different.
Should have empathy.
No, we have to figure out a different way of fighting. And I'm just saying, for me, it's helping me to just like to not not want to strangle and kill these people. Like I just like when somebody says like, well, I don't care if my baby dies. I'm poning the libs. I don't care if my baby gets measles and dies. At least the libtards are wrong. And it's just like, instead of like expending any kind of energy at this point for somebody like that, I just kind of have this like forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
I guess. I don't even know if forgiveness is the right. I'm quoting Charlie Kirk's.
Yeah, so what you're
trying
saying,
to figure out
so
what
forgiving, so you're saying that these people are driving us to hell, but we should forgive them for that. And we should have empathy. I don't know. Because they're not actively evil. They are compromised, programmed.
You know what's happening in my mind? No. In my mind, even the evil people, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like you're an actual evil person.
Yeah, they're not evil, right? It's kind of a helpless reprogramming of, or maybe not reprogramming. It's just kind of leaning into anti-empathy and anti-community and anti-other.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I feel like, I'm trying to read what Josh is saying here. Empathy, all right, it might be selfish, but I feel like it's necessary. I think a question of coexisting has been at the heart of this dilemma for a long time. I mean, I don't, like, when you like, people are happy with what Trump is doing because they want illegals out of here, and they're fucking racists too. Like they're like racists are in charge of our government. That's how we are now. Like that's where we are now. Like I never in my life thought that they would be saying the quiet part out loud, And they're just saying it right on the TV sets, and people are still like, I think it's that, when you listen to Heather Cox Richardson lately, it's starting to, like, people are starting to fall away from it. People are starting to go, wait a minute, this is like a little bit over the line. People are starting to it's starting to crumble, I think.
I hope so.
But I mean, yeah, I know. All right.
All right.
I don't want to be in the... Oh, yeah, Chrissy's saying, I don't want to be asked in the future, why didn't you do anything? But I'm not sure what to do. It's all white supremacy at the core. Yeah, it is. It is. So I guess when I'm saying to have empathy and stuff, I'm talking about at 3 a.m. so you can go back to sleep. Like when you confront these motherfuckers, ask them questions and yeah, I think that's like, do the right thing, right? Like do whatever the good people are telling us to do. But like in order to sleep at night, I'm able to, I guess I just feel really sorry for these people, I guess, and I feel sorry for everybody. Yeah, I don't know. My recipe. It should be that.
It was this one.
No, you should play the other one, though. Yeah, there's a guy on Fox saying kill the homeless. But here's a recipe for y'all. This is Josh. Josh says a guy on Fox saying kill the... They're saying the quiet part out loud. So I saw this dude in the middle of the night doing this. He has those circles of rice paper, and he took this circle of rice paper. He had a pan with some oil in it that was cooking already. He took a circle of rice paper, stuck it in there, and so it kind of crinkled up a little bit. Rice paper. He didn't make it wet first. He just threw it in the oil, like just a couple of drops of oil. And then on top of that, he poured like a mixture of chickpea flour and, bouillon and like powder bouillon and water and nutritional yeast and probably some turmeric. And so like a yellow glop, like fake egg. That was like the fake egg. And usually when you try to make a fake egg omelet, this guy was saying it falls apart in the pan. But if you if you pour it on top of this rice paper and then fold the rice paper over and cook it, it cooks like an omelet. And you get this crunchy outside, which is the rice paper. And so I want to try it with mung beans next time. And then I got this like the black salt, or is it him? I can't remember where the black salt comes from, somewhere in India or something, but that's what you can use to put on your non-eggs to make them taste sulfury, like a little eggy. Yeah, so I did that. I cooked it. It took like 10 seconds, and I made myself a fake omelet. But I want to try it next time with garbanzo. I bought garbanzo bean flour like 10 years ago and never used it, and finally ended up throwing it away like after like 5 years. And then I just, one of the other recipes in the middle of the night, I should buy garbanzo bean flour, and there it was in the store, and it wasn't that expensive per unit. It was very cheap. And so I bought it, and like now all the recipes have got garbanzo bean flour in it. So I'll make that for you. It would taste it a little bit pancakey. That's like, yeah, like it's... And also the drawback is the one sheet of rice paper is 240 calories.
Nice.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Is that more than like
it's more than like a fucking egg sandwich.
Well, like a cup of rice, right? Is that how much?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of like, and you can eat an egg for like 100 calories. So, all right. Thank you.
All right.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of your own hearts.
Have sympathy for the devils.
No, don't have sympathy for the devils. Just make it so you can sleep. If you can't do anything in the middle of the night except swear at people online.